In this video, I want to address multiple issues I've been having since the last time. I could do 3 videos of it, but I said, fuck it, let's make 3 topics in one video because why the hell not? Number 1, HP laptops. Yeah, I mentioned this before. The shitty MediaTek Wi-Fi card that I had, I put it in there and it sucked ass, was like really bad, and HP was responsible for being scroogey. In the past, they even whitelisted and blacklisted hardware that was supported. Nowadays, it got a little bit better. I hope Framework is making some fire under their asses, so they get like, holy shit, we gotta do something about right to repair and all the shit. I hope this keeps them on the move. But sadly, MediaTek, the hardware card itself, is utter hot garbage. Compatibility issues. I had this shit fail on me 2 or 3 times, meaning the Wi-Fi fell out, like because I shut down my laptop and apparently it was in some shitty standby mode. So number 1, the BIOS UEFI is responsible for that. Number 2, Windows 11, the best of these 3 supporting this card, also didn't handle it too well. Number 3, MediaTek itself is utter garbage. I contacted MediaTek about this. Of course, they will never respond. MediaTek has a contact page which you can use to buy stuff from them, which is always a good indicator if you can buy something from a company, but you will never get any support whatsoever. You can buy our stuff. Oh, you wanted it to run? No, that's not the deal. You just buy it from us. We never said explicitly that you can use this piece of shit, this chip, sort of camouflaged as some sort of Wi-Fi Bluetooth device. This shit will never work. It's your own fault if you chose MediaTek. Have fun. And so we have the main culprit, MediaTek. I had an issue with them in the past using a Motorola G7 Power, something like that. It also had a MediaTek CPU, and I clearly remember this because I remember using Qualcomm and remember having battery for hours non-stop, and somewhat a good picture, RM, R, R, ARM, ARM, yeah, CPU and GPU on my smartphone from Qualcomm, beautiful. Then I switched to MediaTek and I thought, what is this fucking no-name company? And then the trouble started, being slow and shitty, draining my battery constantly. This was the power model, you know. I thought, holy shit, if MediaTek is somewhat built in a non-power model, this means constant charging. It's like buying like a cheap, tiny, small electric vehicle, only to find out it's a V16 engine, but it has V1 power, but still drinking fuel and gasoline like a G16 engine of some sorts. This is amazing how bad this shit is. And this is ARM we're talking about, You gotta do major screw ups. And apparently, because they're so shitty, they managed to shit out shitty Wi-Fi and Bluetooth cards and try to scam HP with this. And HP fell for this shitty snowball scam, whatever. And like every good company, only business to business support, I suppose, whatever that means. Seriously, if you want to make serious cash, just found some shitty hardware company and say you're selling good products. It's very important that the website looks nice. This is, the most important step. But other than that, you don't have to do anything. You can vomit a piece of a rectangular form, sort of, and paint it green and call it a chip and call it a day. And that was the issue with MediaTek, HP falling for the scam, HP also not responding. Funnily enough, I still have guarantee on this device, I'm using, and this is like 2 months old laptop, and I had 3 major failures of the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Everything else works perfectly, like a charm, Can't complain. But this Wi-Fi chip, HP has like, please, blah blah blah, call us. The HP official phone number is not available. when you type in Google or official HP homepage, I want to call there in Germany, I don't know. Here's what I think, because I try to view things empirically. If it fails on my end from, how should I put it? If my number is wrong from an empirical viewpoint, this is the first time I'm contacting HP whatsoever in my lifetime. The first time I make this much of a shitty impression, I get this shitty impression. This means equally, if the number in Germany is dead, every number is dead. And this means like so many things, if it fails in one instant, it will fail in all instances. Therefore, I suppose every HP phone number is dead, which gets us to the next funny bit. Then you can say like, no, I want to get a call. So you open the app to get an short message, blah blah blah, SMS. And this SMS you have to open up a URL, and this URL says please log in. Then I log in, I registered my device, and then it says you don't have to do nothing, we will call you back. This has been 1 week. Guess who hasn't been called back? Yeah, that's right, me. And if this happens to me, this has happened before. And this will also mean this will happen in the future, and it's happened in the past. And there will be no consequences because big companies can do all the illegal shit they want. Seriously, I'm not kidding. If famous company XYZ, they just drag some person out of a flat and then say, guys, like Nestle villain type shit, they pull someone out. We feel like doing a human sacrifice, like Vietnam, blowing someone's brains out because we felt like it. We felt like entertainment. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. We have money. You don't. So you're literally worthless scum to us. And somebody might say, no, this would never happen. We have a democratic state. Guess who gets funded by this democratic state? No, you sound too paranoid. I mean, I don't know, man. What can I tell you? But let's let's not digress. The next point being, AMD has big fat slow driver packages, which should also be more in consideration with the shitty MediaTek thing. Then, here's the funny thing, ChatGPT also told me some bullshit garbage trash. It says like, get the official HP MediaTek driver. MediaTek doesn't provide a driver for their own hardware, which is also quite weak. But the official HP driver from this MediaTek card, which is newer and better, disabled my card, And if I use the bad and shitty Microsoft Windows 11 driver, it shouldn't work, but it somewhat works, until there's some background update push from HP to get this driver, and then you're fucked. And not only that, sort of Microsoft should sort of say, no, you have to keep the old shitty driver because this one works. On Linux distros, you have the same issues or even worse, more compatibility issues. So there's also that, and you can't point the finger on Linux devs and say, this is your fault. It's clearly MediaTek's fault. They don't give a shit, and why should they? Why the hell should they? But overall, I bought this laptop in Alternate, German reseller for hardware parts. And here's the funny thing. I used to have a high opinion about Alternate because quick shipping and fast responses and whatnot. But then they sort of started to branch out articles for barbecue parties and washing machines and whatnot. And I suppose since a couple of years, this is why the service dropped, or I don't know what's happening. But here's what I know. They have support hotlines from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is 6 hours from Monday till Friday. It doesn't matter when you call, okay? When you 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12, what is it, a.m., p.m.? I don't, a.m., yeah, 1 p.m. It doesn't matter when you call. There's always, doesn't also matter what you automatic, if you don't choose anything, it'll get hung up, to make more resources. Okay, understand this part. But then you choose one. Press 1 to get connected with the next reseller of ours telling you some bullshit, what you want to buy. Okay? or press 2 for an article you already bought. Okay, and then you press 2. Because of high blah blah blah, high demand, a high rate influx of customers calling, we can process your call right now. Please call back in the argument, bellissima. Because they don't want to let you wait, okay? They they have the best interests for you. They wouldn't, they couldn't bother to put you in this awkward situation of you waiting. They are doing this just because of you, not because they're fucking cheapskates. They want to save money. You cannot even hold the line. You cannot stay in the line because they say, because of this high traffic and we don't want to bother you, uh, call at some other time, whatever that means, goodbye, and then automatically hangs up. So either hangs up, hangs up, hangs up, hangs up, or hangs up. So you can choose between these 5 options of why they hang up on you. Okay? And here's the funny thing. When you call out of, please call later back. Then you call later back, let's say 4 p.m. Then they say, you've called outside of our business hours, Please call again from Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So this means they pay for this shit. They make their customers angry. This is just utter total garbage. Like, it's amazing, man. I wish I had the balls. You could, if you seriously put in some fucking effort, you know? Some shitty automatic blah blah machine, dial, press, whatever, and like 2 or 3 humans, and they're proceeding these tickets and these voice calls and whatnot. Your business can boom so much, Not because your business is so good, just because their business is so bad. We have like voice automated, I don't know what this is, 1960s, 70s, 80s? Please hold the line, press blah blah blah, you know? And 50 years later, we are going backwards, We are de-evolution. We're going backwards. The technology gets more complex, yet we sort of lack the understanding of customer service support happiness. This amazes me because I always thought like customer should be king, yada yada, blah blah blah. But why the fuck? Why the fuck are you? This is like a big business. They're paying like millions and whatnot. Why do you have a customer call line if it serves no fucking function? Okay? And this is just utter garbage. Then the next thing, the third and final topic, and then we're done for today. I will, by the way, because my internet connection is quite shitty here, I'll use what is it, Handbrake, to compress the shit out of this video and upload it to YouTube. The quality might suffer, but I have quite a lot of videos I want to force out there. Cycling 74, Max MSP, beautiful piece of software, sure, why not? But the funny thing is, there is like, wait, give me a second, I have to prompt this because I want to get the whole picture instead of, ja, give me a second. Welche Möglichkeiten gibt es, Max? Oh. Gibt es, dass man DAW registriert? Gekaufte Lizenz ist bei Max für Studio oder Logic oder Pro Tools oder whatever. Registry Key oder Hardware Download, Web API Window, whatever. Liste mit alle möglichen Methoden. Danke. Because of this shitting around with various laptops and reinstalling and redoing and whatnot, I was sort of forced to forced to reinstall Windows 11 on a monthly basis. I also tried out some shit, what breaks Windows 11, what not, and what should I do and what shouldn't I do. I'm somewhat getting there. I also love tinkering with this sort of shit. But the main issue is, okay, out of all the audio programs. These are like hundreds out there. In DAW form, doesn't matter if it's for Android or Huawei, Harmony OS, iOS, Mac OS, Linux, whatever, Google OS. I don't fucking care. The main thing about all these software programs, doesn't matter how they're written in which language, some are, you have to pay for a temporary license, others are free, and for those that you've paid, you get a license. Okay, we got that part. You have software you have to pay, maybe with a trial version, maybe with a 5 minutes to use, like FL Studio, you can save, or every 5 minutes, every VST is generating white noise hissing, Okay, perfect. But the way where the unregistered version and the registered key from the web page, from the account, from the web interface, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Where it says, I got the board license, I have a pie, I have a pen, pineapple pen, where they do the API handshake to verify this guy spent money. It's his official license. But this program says, sure, buddy, I got the license. Let's activate this shit. This is where Max MSP astonishingly fails on a big scale because I did a lot of reinstalls. Sure, my bad. But on the other hand, if you do three, tres, you run into issues. Okay, and the issues mean you have to either for every day or for every time you run Max. Also with Max 8 and Max 9, this error will persist in the future. Some support dude told me they will fix it in the future, whatever that means. But the main, it's quite funny. The more sophisticated the software is, the more retarded this verification process is. Or what is this? Because if you look at it, we've got 9. I'm ChatGPT just told me about 9 methods, and like let's go through them, okay? Number 1, your local registry key, like in Windows, license key auth dat file, Reaper license, JSON XML initialization file, challenge response, Aktivierungssysteme, online activation, sure app generates device ID. Okay, Ableton Live offline. I think even Ableton Live, that's the funny thing. Live bought Cycling 74, and if I'm not mistaken, Live doesn't have these shitty issues from the same company, but Maxa does. And online accounts, web API connections, cloud licensing, OAuth, token-based system, phone home mechanism, dongle-based hardware. This is the 4th method. 5 is hardware fingerprinting, device binding, MAC address, volume, serial number, CPU ID, mainboard ID. Sure. Virtual machine sandboxing detection. Sure. Anti-crack techniques. Time-limited licenses. Yeah, sure. License via container. Exotic combined mechanisms and standards. So overall, these are just 9 methods that ChatGPT vomited out in an instant. If you'd look further, maybe you might find 20 methods. And Cycling 74, it's a beautiful piece of software, don't get me wrong. But you have, the Garden of Eden, but it's protected by some shitty mechanism that is like, and don't get me wrong, I love that you can just go to the homepage, download it, run it, and you just can save. That's the only restriction. You just can't save. But if you want to save, you need to verify who you are. In order for this, you need to open a new project, and then you need to log in. And then there is no autofill. No autofill. It's 2025. Autofill was sort of pushed to 2011. So we're speaking 14 years later down the line. It can't register, like, wait, yes, I remember. You are the guy who wanted to log in yesterday. How about I remember your data? So you just need to press arrow key down or click into the entry mask and your credentials appear again, you can select and log in. Not even that. You know, I always have to go to my web browser, web of choice, go to passwords, copy my email, paste it to the Max registration video, copy my password, paste it into the Max registration, blah blah blah. Press OK. Hope to God that I have internet connection. Usually I do. Then it contacts the server, says, yeah, I bought a license. Then it's okay. Either this or I contacted support. While the first guy was understanding and told me, yeah, sure, we will fix this stuff. The second woman who was responding, second person support sort of just wrote me, hello, yes, because of 3 devices, you have to ask us again. And there's a funny thing I remember somebody saying in programming, if you're doing something again and again and again and again and again, then there is a method where you can shorten it, automate it. Yeah. This is one of the basic rules of programming. And the fact, I don't know, is this project management or is it how this piece of software is developed? Um, you have these big thinker brains who should focus on developing this piece of software. And then the company says, yeah, you might be Stephen Hawking, black hole mathematics and whatnot. But how about, without any fucking reason, how about we also make you the guy to 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 open the door, to get our shippings, to uh to respond to customers asking questions, not just any questions, the dumbest of the dumbest questions. And usually, I don't know which paradigm this falls in, but I remember somewhere reading Pain by Design. And usually in user experience and user interface, you try to avoid pain by design. You don't want to maximize the pain, you want to decrease it, not increase it. And Max, on one hand, genius masterminds, thought about how about we slow everything down? How about we make this just as horrid for the user as it can be horrid for our people working here? You know, why should they bother fixing on major issues if they could just answer retarded questions again and again and again and again? The best task is the one which costs us the most money. And why the fuck do companies do this, man, on a regular basis? It's not that I'm smart, it's just that they're dumb, but on purpose. But there is money on the line. And if you tell them this, let's say it would be so drastical to say, I go to a company, give me $1 million, and I say, why should we? Then you say, because you're too dumb to spend it properly, so might as well just put it in my pockets. And I say, no, never. We spend everything correctly by the books. Everything has a system and a plan, and it makes sense. Then you look at the books, it's some kids' scribblings with crayons, and nobody can read it. And you say, you know, I can see whoever wrote this, even the person writing this down, couldn't read it. Nobody can read this. And you're telling me the whole company is following these guidelines, these very exact guidelines. And the company manager, whoever says, yeah, yeah, why? Where's the problem? And you tell them, you don't see the problem yourself. You need me as an external factor, so to say, as an external perspective to see that these hieroglyphic scribblings, symbols of some sorts, do not make sense, do not compute. You need me to tell you this. Brother, what what should I tell you, it's like a red thread I'm seeing in every company. Every company has the like weak spot and sort of is on the company how they handle it. And like I said before, while Max, when like 99.999% they get right, but this one very crucial, axiom of major failure, because how much how much resources is it costing them since 1993, maybe 1997? Think about this. We are talking like 30 years down the line. Imagine doing some shitty task 30 years down the line. I mean, some people can do it, but I personally just resignate. This is where I say This is where I draw the line. I told you guys what's wrong. Um, you didn't listen to me, and now it's goodbye. You know, because I can't handle with. There are certain amounts of illogical behavior I can, tolerate, but at some threshold, it just feels like self-harming. And if somebody hits themselves with a pen, you would also stop the person, say, "Don't hit yourself. Hit the pen with your fist, at least. Just let your anger out this way. Why do you have to hurt yourself?" And let's say the blood splatters around, blood gets into the eye of other people. Do you really need to do this? Isn't there a more elegant solution to all of this? That's what I'm saying and thinking, and I hope it's understandable from where I'm coming from with this. These are my three short and sweet topics that I had in mind. And I see it's already 25 minutes of me yapping around. Amazing. Okay, bye bye. See you next time.